For athletes looking to achieve greater levels of personal performance while remaining injury-free from each workout is the new frontier in athletic performance. Now, having a general awareness of these performance elements are absolutely essential for your game-changing success as an athlete. Hey everyone, I'm Dr. Barry, and I'm going to be outlining for you setting up a program that you can help yourself to be able to reach your peak performance no matter what your athletic ability or your goals are. Now, if there was a simple recipe that was able to improve your athletic performance no matter what your level, I'm sure you'd be all over it. You see, there is a new revolution that's happening in sports as more and more athletes are basing their success on these game-changing principles by reducing the risk of injury along with rapid recovery. Now, when I speak of recovery, I'm not only speaking of injury recovery, but more importantly, the recovery from workout to workout. Now, here is where you may just discover the key to injury prevention. Athletes are no stranger to using a variety of supplements, protein powders, hydration systems, support braces, as well as pre and post workout routines in order to enhance as well as maximize their performance. Yeah, these things are all very important, but that's what everyone's coaching. No one is speaking about proper workout recovery, which in my experience as a distance runner and a doctor treating musculoskeletal injuries since the mid-1980s, this is true injury prevention. Now, from weekend warriors to amateur or professional athletes, we all tend to believe that injury prevention is pretty much all about having a good pre-workout stretching regimen. Now, don't take me the wrong way. This is a logical way to prevent sports injuries with the proper warm-up and a stretching program. Now, it makes perfect sense that cold muscles are prone to overstretching and tears, while warm muscles are obviously more flexible and can absorb shock and quick movements, creating a less likely scenario for injuries. Now, what I'm speaking of is a simple compound that goes way beyond the benefits of just stretching and warming up, along with proper hydration in the prevention of sports injuries. Now, if you're like most athletes, you would know that injuries are inevitable and a major obstacles in attaining and maintaining peak performance in whatever sport or physical activity you participate in. Now, I'm not going to make you wait until the very end of this to find out what I'm speaking of. That secret weapon that I'm talking about is known as cannabidiol, or better called CBD. Now, before you stop listening, let me explain the trusted research that will substantiate why CBD may provide a speedy recovery from workout to workout, as well as those inevitable injuries that will set our training back, and how to prevent some of those injuries in the first place. You're about to realize the power of CBD and why it's been stated as the research article dated back in 2013 that CBD should be considered an unfair advantage by the anti-doping world. In 2018, after an exhaustive scientific discovery, the World Anti-Doping Agency, WADA, removed CBD from the list of prohibited substances for professional athletes, including the International Athletic Federation. Now, this happened after the recognition of the many natural beneficial effects that CBD has upon the human body as it relates to athletics of all types. Now, it's important to understand that it's critical not to be ingesting a cannabis source that contains the wrong profile of cannabinoids. Now, what I'm speaking of here is a cannabinoid that is known as tetrahydrocannabinol, or often called THC. And I'll be outlining the acceptable sources a little bit later on based on this ruling. Now, why athletes should use CBD? When working out, we're actually stressing the body in order to encourage it to grow. You see, this process is done by simply breaking down muscle fibers, allowing them to grow back actually stronger and faster than they were prior. Anyone that has ever trained hard knows that this process comes with difficulties. Difficulties resulting in buildup of lactic acid, leading to pain and inflammation in a greater amount than what our endocannabinoid system can actually handle. You see, if you push too hard, recovery can take you out of the game for days at a time, and injuries are even harder to bounce back from. Even when you're physically at your best, if your energy levels are low, or you feel stressed, apprehensive to push on, or simply depressed, it's tough to perform at your best. At its extreme, fatigue, depression, and anxiety may lead to a lack of sleep and can keep you from getting out of the house, stifling your growth altogether. Adding plant-derived exogenous hemp, CBD, may help this overloaded system get your neurotransmitters back under control and helps athletes maintain homeostasis. Now, fortunately, nutritional supplements exist that can help take on some of these challenges, striving to be the best versions of ourselves. This may be accomplished with the newest performance-enhancing natural addition to that list that has already hit the market, known as CBD. Cannabidiol, or CBD, is a compound that's extracted from the cannabis sativa plant that offers impressive advantages not only for athletes, but for overall health of the human body. You see, CBD, derived from the recommended source of hemp, has been found to perform these 7 important functions I'm about to outline. Number 1, it acts as an adaptogen. Number 2, it speeds the recovery and fights fatigue. 3, it helps reduce pain. Number 4, it aids in preventing inflammation. 5, it promotes optimal mood. 6, it enhances proper sleep. And 7, it aids in concussion protection. Now, with such a long list of potential benefits, it's no wonder that more and more athletes are adding CBD to their daily regimen. But let's discuss a little bit more about these 7 major advantages that athletes are supplementing with CBD and what they're experiencing. Number 1, CBD acts as an adaptogen. Now, traditional adaptogens include reishi mushrooms and echinacea, but now CBD has joined this list of stress-reducing, performance-boosting plants. That's simply because it fits the definition perfectly. So, what are adaptogens? As Dr. Brenda Powell of the Center for Integrative and Lifestyle Medicine told Time magazine, adaptogens are non-toxic plants and herbs, and I quote, that are meant to bring us back to the middle, end quote. Now, adaptogens also protect the nervous system and the neuroendocrine system from overreaching themselves. And according to a 1969 study, adaptogens must be stimulatory in nature without causing side effects. Well, does that sound familiar? And that's exactly what CBD does. By activating our endocannabinoid system within our body, which is a signaling network of internal cannabis-like substances, CBD helps to promote balance. Now, the endocannabinoid system activation by CBD creates a type of health and vitality where homeostasis can be maintained. Now, using adaptogens to promote fast recovery? Well, for athletes, CBD and the rest of hemp's most active ingredients may help them better adapt to their training process. Think of the metabolic state that follows a really tough workout. Body temperature is high and cortisol levels are through the roof. Additionally, muscle proteins have been broken down and stored sugar in the form of glycogen is almost completely depleted. Now, this is not exactly the picture of balance, but sensing this, the body begins to produce greater amounts of our own internally produced endocannabinoids, such as anandamide, to deal with this recovery process. To add in additional plant cannabinoids like CBD, such imbalances can be quickly corrected. Interestingly enough, this renewal process was also described by Hans Selye, who called this the resistance stage of adaptation. Now, resistance against stressors, that is, in order to recover fast and avoid burnout. Now, thankfully, CBD from hemp helps. Therefore, things could get even better when one takes CBD alongside of other adaptogens. Now, while research in this area of adaptogens continues, we do know that most plant adaptogens work via activating enzymes like AMPK to regulate energy balance and regulate fat burning. Now, it could be taken that CBD and other adaptogens working together lead into a synergistic effect. In other words, the two types of substances could actually help each other work better rather than taking them alone. Number 2, CBD may speed recovery and fight fatigue. We need to realize that every time we work out, we put stress on our body, encouraging it to grow and to strengthen. Now, this physical stress, unfortunately, results in increased oxidative damage, and too much of which is going to harm our performance and slow our recovery. And what's more, it's also going to be leading to mental and physical fatigue. By reducing oxidative damage, CBD may help athletes recover faster and perform better. The faster we recover from both workouts and injuries, the more we're going to be able to work out and the better we're going to feel doing so. Now, number 3, CBD helps to reduce pain. Inflammatory pain is the most common pain that athletes experience. This is the type of pain that occurs when you work your muscles to their max or following an injury. Inflammatory pain is traditionally treated with over-the-counter non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs like Advil and Aleve. Unfortunately, long-term use of these drugs are incredibly detrimental to your health. And excessive use of these painkillers have also been tied to heart attacks, strokes, gastrointestinal bleeding, kidney damage, and more. Now, researchers are beginning to examine the potential of using CBD as a safer treatment for inflammatory pain. And studies have found CBD to effectively reduce this type of pain and could work as a safer alternative to these non-steroidal drugs. Number 4, CBD aids in preventing inflammation. There is a massive amount of research that's available on the internet on CBD's anti-inflammatory effect and has been shown to be one of CBD's best features. Inflammation is a natural response of the body to injury or to excessive exertion during a strenuous workout. Now, this type of inflammation is very beneficial in the early stages of the healing process and is also designed to prevent athletes from overtraining or resuming their training schedule too early. This way, the body ensures that no further injury or muscle strain will occur. However, in many cases, this inflammatory phenomenon lasts longer than necessary, causing joint and tissue damage. Now, due to the anti-inflammatory properties of CBD, it has been shown to suppress the enzymes that are creating this inflammation, therefore reducing the duration and the symptoms of inflammation. Number 5, CBD may promote optimal mood. Now, most of us have struggled at one time or another with stress, anxiety, or depression. That any one or all three of these can actually deter us from getting out and being active. Even when we push through these emotions, they can wreak havoc on how well we perform, especially under physical activities. Now, depression and anxiety are what we call motivational disorders, and research suggests that CBD may help. Even small-scale human studies have found that CBD can help with certain forms of anxiety. Now, if you found that those pre-game jitters, anxiety, or a depressed mood negatively impact your athletic prowess, CBD may provide some relief. And number 6, CBD enhances proper sleep. If you have trouble sleeping, staying asleep, or sleeping throughout the night, or even just having difficulty having a full 8 hours, you may be suffering from insomnia. You see, poor sleep definitely will hinder athletic recovery and performance. We definitely need those full 8 hours for our bodies to be able to heal, especially after a strenuous workout. Plus, when we don't get enough sleep, we're not able to give it our all the following day. Now, if your sleep troubles originate from pain, anxiety, or other conditions that CBD is helpful for, CBD may be able to give you some relief. Plus, you may be able to sleep better with its use. But for healthy individuals with difficulty sleeping that is not from pain or anxiety, research also suggests that CBD may promote wakefulness. Now, this goes back to the simple principle that CBD strives to create a balance or homeostasis, and therefore the cause and trouble of sleep is attempted to be balanced by the use of CBD. So, try CBD out for yourself, and if you have trouble sleeping, you may find some improvement. Number 7, CBD provides concussion protection. You see, concussions are the most common type of brain injury and have many dangerous consequences if they're misdiagnosed or left untreated. The trouble is, doctors don't have many options available to them for treating concussions, and they're often difficult to actually diagnose. Now, recent research has identified CBD as a potential candidate to help with concussions as well as post-concussion syndromes. Now, CBD works as a neuroprotectant, disrupting the flow of chemicals during a concussion, which greatly adds to the limited protocols that are available for doctors who actually treat concussions. Now, with more research and a better understanding of how CBD affects concussions, along with its lingering damage, this common sports-related brain injury could be significantly reduced or even become a thing of the past. So how can you use CBD to boost your performance? Well, now that you have a good understanding as to why CBD is the hottest advantage for athletes, you're probably asking yourself, what's the best way for me to add CBD into my daily exercise routine? Well, there's two very important things that we need to consider. Number one, that is the type of CBD to take. And number two, the method of administration. Now, when purchasing CBD to boost athletic performance, we have several options to choose from as it relates to the preferred hemp variety. I said hemp variety of cannabis. To number one, we have the full spectrum oil, which contains all the cannabinoids, including THC and the terpenes. But remember this, THC is not an allowed ingredient according to the World Anti-Doping Association. Number two, and that's next we have, is the broad spectrum oil, which is the same as the full spectrum, however, THC has been removed. And number three, lastly, we have the CBD isolate, which is just as it appears, CBD only. Therefore, the best CBD oil to choose, in my opinion, is the broad spectrum, as it is the best option in relating to the entourage effect of all the cannabinoids as well as the terpenes minus the psychotropic THC. Now, I need to make this very clear. In order to stay within the legal guidelines as far as the World Anti-Doping Association's ruling is concerned, THC, even in trace amounts, is not permitted. Now, I encourage you to investigate your sport's governing body to determine just exactly what is their take on CBD prior to engaging in a CBD regimen. And if you don't have one, a governing body that is, then I guess it's obvious the choice is up to you. And as far as the type of product that I use and I prefer and recommend for most of my patients is a broad spectrum tincture oil that is placed under the tongue for 5 minutes and then swallowed to maximize its bioavailability. So now you have an opportunity to run across some other things such as capsules. However, this method is going to be significantly limiting the amount of CBD that you can actually utilize by the body. So I don't usually recommend capsules to be used. Now the next question is, how much do I take? Well, there's really no standard of dosage. CBD for everyone's needs are different. You see, your ideal dosage of what I typically recommend is based on your physiology and the purpose of what you're taking CBD for. Typically, I start a patient out on the suggested amount that's listed on the bottle and slowly work up over time, increasing the dosage every 7 days or so until they find the quantity that works best for them. By now, I'm sure you understand how CBD may offer a significant advantage in your athletic performance, which is safe, permitted by the highest governing sports authority, and highly desirable for use as an athlete. Now, this is just a snapshot into how CBD oil helps not only high-performance athletes, but also anyone interested in enhancing the results that they experience from exercise. And perhaps one of the greatest potential benefits for exercise enthusiasts is CBD oil's ability in reducing post-exercise pain and discomfort resulting from lactic acid and inflammatory buildup. The CBD could actually be the competitive edge that you're looking for. Well, it's something that you may want to check out and investigate for yourself. Now, also, if you would like a copy of my references that I've used, please email me and I'll place it right down at the bottom here, and that is at drbarry@cbdpro.co. That's not .com, but .co. Thank you.